Hi, welcome back to Beautiful Souls. This will be part one to What If I Was an MHA? Awakening of the Zerg. First off, I want to say I apologize. This is my fourth time recording this. I had some issues with the sound earlier and constant interruptions, and I wanted to actually get this in a clean go. That being said, let's get into this story. So, we're going to do a little bit of a flashback explanation. Over the past 4 years, Izuku has still gotten bullied, but it hit a crux about 6 months prior to him getting the life seed. That being said, it's more like it's like Katsuki constantly bullies him, but Izuku he's been more and more indifferent towards it. Kind of like whatever Kachan. And this started making Katsuki even more like agitated with Izuku because he's no longer getting that interaction, and Izuku still has a dream of being a hero. Well, one day, 6 months prior to getting the seed, it hits, like I said, it hits a crux. And let's get into it. Deku, you damn nerd, what are you doing? You're always like you seem like you don't care anymore about like people bullying you or what people say about you. And you still want to be a hero, yet you have no power? Kachan, shut up! I'm tired of it. You're constantly bullying me. You're always picking on people. Is that what a hero's supposed to be? Is that something All Might would do? Would he pick on someone that's weaker than him, or would he try to help him out? You've been such a jerk over the past 5 years since you've gotten your damn quirk. You've just become a jerk. Actually, you become a villain, you a-hole. And with that, Katsuki just blasts at Izuku. And they get into a fight, and Katsuki ends up giving Izuku a couple of burns because of the explosions, and also like a couple of broken ribs. And well, Katsuki didn't get out of that fight too well either, because as Katsuki came in for a haymaker, pretty much like blasting it as well, Izuku caught him, and as Katsuki was going in to hit him, because Izuku kind of kicked him up a little bit as he was jumping, his fist came down lower and hit him in the chest. Yeah, Izuku got a couple of broken ribs, but he slammed Katsuki into the ground, basically busting up his lip, breaking his nose, and kind of leaving a little bit of a bruise on the side of his face where the impact of the concrete met his face. And Izuku's like teachers come over and like they break the two up because they were going at it. Parents were called, Mitsuki was upset, Inko was like apologizing to her, and Mitsuki's like, no, it's the damn brat's fault. And so they end up going to like separate hospitals for obvious reasons. And like Katsu's like, I'll get you back for this damn nerd. And Izuku, like, with a little bit of grimace, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna give up either, Kachan. I'm gonna beat you one day fair and square. Really, because Izuku, he's taken crap over the years, but because Akira has been teaching him a few things, having him work out, having him conditioning his body, he had a little bit more force and he is a little bit more confident than what he would be in canon at this point. So, a flashback ended. Let's get to it. So, this is about about a day after Izuku, a couple days before Izuku received the seed. We cut to, seems a single Zerg has landed on Mother's world. That's very, very peculiar. Don't they usually send a group of 10? Vala to Hall Council, requesting interaction protocols. Single Zerg confirmed landed on Terra. Interaction protocols granted. Prep eradication protocols. Confirm orders, young Vala. Protocols engaged. Orders confirmed. Hyperdrive engaged. And sorry, this one's going to be a little bit not having different changes of voices because of issues with my throat. So we cut to about 2 months later. During a training session, Agata stops moving and looks to the sky. With this, Deku takes this opportunity in opening and takes his spike and impales Agata's shoulder while yelling, "You're wide open!" "Ouch!" screams Agata and then winches as he proceeds to look at the sky again. "Uncle, why are you looking at the sky and not focusing on the spar?" Izuku, you cannot sense it yet?" asks Akata with a worried look. Deku then asks, "What do you mean?" All of a sudden, Akata grabs Izuku and jumps towards Deku's house. As he lands, he begins to scream, "Inko! Inko! Inko!" While he's holding Izuku, Inko comes running out to see Akata holding Izuku, and she starts freaking out. Is my baby hurt? And she's really concerned. No, exclaims Akata while looking at the sky with a fear on his face. And Izuku and Inko notice this. They are here sooner than I thought, he says as he sets Deku down and he begins to transform. At this, a beam of light pierces the sky. Inko and Deku are shocked because in those brief moments, Akata had grown to first time Izuku seeing this, and definitely the first time Inko seeing something like this. He grows to a Titan class of about 20 feet tall and pushes them to the ground as he shields them from the blast. Their house is destroyed behind them, and as the dust clears, Inko and Izuku get up and dust themselves off, and the dust clears. They see Akata and them are in a crater, and Akata has burns all across like his back and a good portion of like his torso. As a person descends from the sky in weird armor that's weird. Inko, I'm sorry. As he's like basically coughing up blood. And well, this is weird because they notice his blood's not red, it's a different color. As this being like descends, it fires off another beam directly at Izuku. And before it could hit Izuku, Akira had stood up and jumped in front of the beam again. Protoss, stop! He's human, hybrid. Please, leave the humans be. They've done nothing wrong. You know what you've done. You've descended to a neutral zone. Any interference between either of our species is cause for war. What are you doing here? It doesn't matter. I've broken the treaty. Do what you must. Please, leave them alone. You of all people should know what it's like. Please, must die. Don't kill the boy. He's still human in mind. The hatred my kind has for yours. Please, leave him alone. He doesn't share the hatred. He's different. Something about his human side. In all the while, Ingo is shocked with this. And mind you, Akira is speaking with a voice, but to them, this being's helmet is just lighting up with this weird bluish hue to it. And it seems like this person is communicating with Akira via telepathy. And then the being turns to Inko and Izuku and proceeds to speak with them. In a sense, Inko and Izuku kind of grasp their heads, and the being says, My apologies, humans. Your kind's not used to telepathic communication yet, is it? That's not true. Some of you have this ability. Interesting. Quirks, humans. Secondary evolution. Interesting. Worth further study. You Zerg. You've accepted your faith. Now perish. And as this person's hand begins to glow, and it begins to fire out like a weird energy, different from what it was firing earlier. Before the beam hits Akira, and he, I'm just standing there waiting of faith. Inko jumps in front of it and says, "Stop this! Human, you protect this thing. It consumes worlds. It destroys civilizations. It destroyed my father. Its kind deserves to be eradicated. Your son, he's different. It seems to be more of a quirk than Zerg." As the helmet begins to glow red. And this is when Inko says, "It doesn't matter. He's different. How can a Zerg be different from their kind?" It's okay, Ingo. Run. I said it wouldn't go after Izuku and be safe. Please. Why do you protect it? Screams this being floating in the air that we know is Protoss. And Inko screams out, he left them. He basically put himself in exile. He was tired of all the killing, tired of all the war. And if creatures like you from another world can't accept something like that, then you should leave our planet as well. And with that, do you truly believe that, human? Yes, you said their kind kills and destroys, but all he's done over the past 5.5 years has helped me and my son. He saved us a couple times from harm. It's probably because he wanted to infect your son. Needless to say. As she shoots, as it shoots, Protoss are kind of sexually ambiguous at times, sometimes. They can pretty much be anything if you really think about it. Though some do show feminine qualities, some don't. And something begins to happen with Izuku, and he begins to cough. And the Zerg qualities from his normal base begin to retreat. Inko screaming out, you call them a monster, but it seems like you're the one that's the monster. And then something happens. Izuku begins to scream. His head and he begins to morph. He starts to grow bigger and bigger and bigger until he's about 18 feet tall. And he pounces on this person who, in his mind, attacked his family, destroyed his house. And it hurt. It's Protoss. It hurt. It hurt Agda. It hurt Uncle. Can be heard a loud, hissing roar can be heard from miles away. And mind you, this little incident didn't go unnoticed by the public. A couple of heroes have arrived, and they just see this monster look like attacking this person. They go in to fight, but they're pushed back by a force field. And as the Protoss see, I did promise I wouldn't come after him, but he attacked first. Eradication protocols engaged. Inko is running in between and gets kind of hit with this. He stands up and he begins to scream, you hurt Inko. You're threatening Izuku. No, not again. Not another death because of me. I gave up being a royal to come to this planet. Finally I had peace. Then this happened. Not again. As now Akira begins to morph, his body begins to change form as it starts to grow larger, larger before it reaches Izuku's height, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 70, 80 feet? What kind of quirk is that? Yells out one of the heroes. As Akira proceeds to grab the Protoss, slamming it into the ground, then grabbing Izuku, who's rampaging, and holds him down. Izuku, control your rage. She's fine. She's alive. She's hurt. But you need to calm down. As a beam pierces Akira's hand, and he takes his hand off and lands it, grabs the Protoss, and then jumps away, landing in the mountains several miles outside of the city. And at this, heroes come running in. They check on the woman because what was said about her still being alive. With that, ambulances and fire trucks do arrive, and Izuku's is sitting there just crying, "Please, Mom, sorry, I would have done this. I would have done. She'd be alive. She'd be okay. She'd never have been hurt." Why did this have to happen? Oakley, he left his room. He left what he didn't. He didn't want to kill anyone. He wanted to be left alone. All he wanted to do was live out the rest of his life in peace. And before Izuku starts getting heated up, Akira's voice rings off in his head. "Izuku, I told you. Calm down. I can still feel the range." And with that, Izuku cuts off. Now, off in the distance, people do see explosions going off because Akira is in full fighting mode. And eventually he knocks the Protoss down to the ground with a great thud. In the immediate area, a loud shockwave could be heard and felt. Sorry about that. And Akira then begins to go back to his base, and what's standing there isn't a humanoid, isn't a human-looking creature, but something completely alien. And Akira just snarls, and he's like, "If you're going, I know you're just holding back. Why didn't you kill me on the spot?" "Because I had to make sure my assumptions were correct." As the visor begins to glow red, "I still don't like you. But then that woman said you were royal. No wonder you were able to create more of your kind. Why did you do that to that boy? Haven't you asked your Protoss? Haven't you asked your creators or your father why they created you? What they did to you and your mother? You're human too, right? You're a hybrid." And Akira is talking telepathically to this Protoss. The visor then lifts up, and it shows a human face with their hair just glowing blue and flashes of red. What do you know? What do you know, Zerg? All your kind does is destroy worlds they touch. All I wanted was to get away from the killing, to not be a part of that society anymore. They're nothing but savages. I'm different. And if I must die to protect those two, I'll gladly give up my life. And I won't even fight it. I'll keep watching you, Zerg. And if you so much as go to create another hybrid with your bloodline, I will eradicate you and this entire planet. As the being, shoots up into the sky, disappearing with the light, Akita finally dropping to the ground. With the last bit of energy that he has, he morphs his body into look more human. Though, it's very hard for him to accomplish this. What seems like hours pass, and he feels somebody picking him up. And he hears, whoever attacked you surely really did a number on you. Well, let's get you to a hospital. There's some people that are going to be worried about you. Probably. At least from the reports that I heard. As the keeper jumps up and drops the injured civilian at the hospital, agents from the government arrive shortly after. And after several days, Akita finally wakes up and he sees Izuku sitting next to his bed. And he nudges Izuku with a claw, and Izuku wakes up and he's like, "Uncle, you're awake. Mom, I'm sorry. I lost it, but I understand that rage. Hard to control in the presence of one of them." "I know, Izuku. I took everything I had to control myself and not kill it. That thing, it's still alive." And after the doctors come in and they see that Akita's okay, they tell the boy that he needs to leave now. These gentlemen need to have a word with your uncle. Because the nurse said, overheard Mizuku calling him uncle. And then the people in suits come in and they begin to talk to Akita. One of them has a silencing quirk, basically able to prevent people from hearing. And the other one has a truth-seeking quirk. Basically, they can tell if someone's lying to them. And they begin to ask, one of your relocation agreements was anything we need to know that could possibly be a threat to civilians, yourself, or that boy that seems to have awakened a quirk similar to yours. what exactly is your quirk?
I guess I can't lie to you. Even if I tried to, you'd be able to tell, huh?
And the woman is like, you could tell what my quirk was?
It's kind of obvious with the weird pheromones. And with the pheromones you're pumping out. In you, how effective is your quirk? Can anyone... How hard is it for someone to hear what's going on in this room?
So you really can tell what people's quirks are?
Oh, it's not really what your quirk is, but what you could potentially do. To answer your question, lady, it's not necessarily a quirk. It's more like a mutation in our family.
This passed the person's truth-seeking quirk because technically they are family in more ways than one. Akira truly thinks of Izuku and Inko as family in a sense, or at least as close to what an alien who doesn't really have human emotions can think of. But also because he did give Izuku a life seed, they are technically family in a sense because they share the same bloodline. Plus, with the whole DNA assimilation from Izuku that Akira did when he crashed on the planet. Yeah, this wasn't a lie, but it wasn't necessarily true. It was something that was truthful, but not a lie, if that makes any sense. So, as they finish up their discussion, Akira explains to him that there's a mutation caused by a recessive quirk-like ability. These are quirk-like abilities. It's more of a mutation, separate from a quirk.
Then how does the boy have it?
Says the man. Well, replies Akira, my abilities went haywire one day. And I guess you can say some of my blood got splattered against the boy, and it awakened his latent abilities. Which, again, isn't a lie, but it's not the truth. Like, he's not lying to them. He's just not necessarily giving them all the details. Then they ask him what was that about in that giant colossal form that he's shown off. And Akira says, look, I just want to live in peace. That was the biggest that I can get. I have 2 types of transformations. Classes. As the lady starts raising an eyebrow, and then her eyebrow lowers down. First off, as Akira stands up, this is my base. Well, sorta. As he turns his human face into a different. The human-like face, or this, is my base. Then I have my battle mode, And Akira begins to grow, and he grows about 2 more feet than what he already is. So he's about eight, 8.5 feet tall. No, he's about 8 feet tall. Sorry, something completely different. I've read in my notes wrong. And then what you saw is called a colossal transformation. Be a while before I can get rid of these. As he's looking down at the spikes, it's a side effect of using those forms. It's hard to go back to our base entirely. Sometimes certain characteristics never leave. And after going into more details, these people in suits come walking out as a woman walks up. And she's like, Izuku, is he okay? Yeah, Mom, he just got done talking with them. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, baby, you should head home. I'll get a cab there and I'll be okay, sweetie? There's a lot me and Akira need to talk about. And with that, you beautiful souls, this is where I'm going to end this part. Again, I am sorry for the late on this, but I wanted to get the voice all in one, and a couple of times I was having issues with recording, either getting interrupted or stuff. So that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. Also, there's a new YouTuber. He has less than 400 subs, and with nearly 3,000 of you, I want you guys to go down, see some of his videos. If you like his content, give him a sub. But something I would like to do is, over this weekend, I would really love to see his channel grow and get his channel to grow a little bit bigger. He has some good ideas, and over time, his storytelling will get better, I can tell. That being said, the link to the person's channel will be in the bottom. And with that, I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.